The head of the House of Representatives Democrat Party is Hakeem Jeffries, who has really got a big problem with anti-Semitism and anti-white racism. We're going to show you. Let's talk about racism in the other direction.
You ain't black.
This guy, you may remember him as Leonard Jeffries. He was the face of academic racism and anti-Semitism in the 90s. Then he was ridiculed as being deranged. Some of his theories were insane. He headed the Black Studies program at New York City College. It's a very big university. And he had made a number of speeches basically saying that blacks are superior to whites because blacks, who he calls the sun people, have more melanin in their skin than whites, who he called the ice people. And he said that all Western knowledge is a corruption of Egyptian knowledge, which is black and African, and was stolen by the white race and the Hebrews, who stole the 10 Commandments and religion and so on. And he went on and on and on with unrelenting attacks on Jews and whites. Now, the reason I bring him up years and years and years and years after this, and he had all these theories about slavery and blah, blah, blah. He's got a relative, and his relative is this guy. This is Hakeem Jeffries, his nephew. And Jeffries is the leader of the Democrats in Congress. And you don't get farther left than this guy. He replaced, of all people, Nancy Pelosi. So this Jeffries, Hakeem, came up recently when Biden's Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson, turns out in her hearings, had been part of a Black Studies group that had invited Hakeem's uncle, Jeffries, to come and speak at Harvard. And Hakeem Jeffries is a big fan of Louis Farrakhan, who hates whites and Jews and Christians and wants to overthrow the United States government. Well, Hakeem's been in Congress since 2013. And in an interview, he said, well, I don't remember clearly what these other people said. I have a vague recollection, which is ridiculous because it was headlines all over the world, right? And I've got about 10 quotes here about him saying how great Minister Farrakhan is, how great his relative, Dr. Leonard Jeffries, is, and how great their theories are. And here's the point. This guy's an absolute racist. His uncle is an absolute racist. He's an anti-Semite. His uncle is a virulent anti-Semite. And here's where it gets weird. Instead of fellow Democrats calling out the racism, one of the most prominent members of Congress, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, who's Jewish, I've met with her, went on and on about how Hakeem Jeffries and I are fast, dear friends, and how he has all these Jewish values of tikkun olam, repairing the world, and wants everyone to be brothers. Here's what I don't get. Will, Hakeem Jeffries is the head of the Democrat Party in Congress. He's a racist, and he's an anti-Semite. He's got a history of defending horrible racist views of horrible racist people. And now his Jewish colleague defends him just because they're both what? Democrats.
Yep. They're both Democrats. I always say this, demons will protect demons. I'm just saying they will protect them. They can commit crimes. They can say the most nasty, despicable things, Barry, and they will still protect them. And I know I bring this up quite often. Look what they did with Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar. When they were saying these despicable things about Israel, they protected them. even after they say, okay, you need to sign this thing that you won't say this anymore because, you know, we don't want them to stop giving us money, you know. I mean, it is what it is. That's what they did. And they protected them for saying these nasty, disgusting things. They didn't remove them from any committees. They didn't try to censure them. Nothing. They did just the opposite. They end up elevating the squad, and they're still elevating them, even though they said despicable things, communist, you know, ideology, and they're still pushing it.
I think you make an interesting point that party allegiance comes before morals,
Oh
ethics,
yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
values. The idea that I'm an American who happens to be a Democrat, it doesn't work like that. I'm a Democrat, and everything in the party, by definition, is okay.
Yep.
You know,
Or we'll excuse everything that we don't like because we hate Trump more. Is what it really comes down to. They hate
could be.
Trump more than all of the crazy stuff that they're doing.
Very well could be. Very well could be.